my god, look at these fools. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? Star Wars, Star Wars. We're like, we're making a Star Wars game, but we can't tell you about it, so we're just gonna sit in the crowd and be really awkward. It's your best E3 conference ever. Yo, what's crackalacking, people? Well, I'm just going to try and fire out a quick video here. No editing or anything like that. I'm just going to try and fire one out, give my quick thoughts on Microsoft mostly. Yeah, Microsoft just for this video, because obviously there's a lot going on. We got Ubisoft in an hour, and I don't know if you just saw Square Enix's E3 press video. I thought they'd do a live conference for some reason, but it was just a video, which is fine. But my God, I mean, that was pretty bad, pretty underwhelming. It might not have been so bad like a lot of people said if they didn't actually blow their load in previous press conferences too early on, like the Microsoft one where they show most of their stuff. But oh my God, half an hour of expecting more, and already seen what you've already shown type of thing. But yeah, that was not good at all. Probably the worst conference we've seen in a long time. And I thought EA were trash. I mean, EA were trash, but my God, I think Square were up there as well. But at least there was no fluff in between. They just got on with what they had. But anyway, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts on Microsoft's E3 press conference, because Microsoft are they're not in a great position, as we all know. They are trying to claw back, and do you know what? This press conference they just had, I thought they'd done the best with what they had. Me as I don't own an Xbox One. I had a 360 original Xbox, but I dropped off for tons of reasons because of the Xbox One. But I feel like if you were an Xbox One fan, not just an Xbox fan in general, they gave you what you would have wanted, really. I feel. For the most part, from their first party stuff, they could have showed a lot more, but I feel like they're reaching a point now where you could just tell that they want to move on, because I don't think there's any way they're going to really claw back that much more from the Xbox One brand, as it's been, because it's been struggling against the PS4, and as we know, the Switch is pretty much blowing past it, just in a year and a half. So the Xbox One brand is just doing what it can to survive. And to be fair, what Microsoft's shown and said is them, surprisingly, I thought they would, but surprisingly, is them not giving up on the fight. At least getting a lot of third-party games once again on their platform. Third-party games that you're not going to get on the Switch for many reasons, but they still have those third-party games. And the first-party games that they did show, I mean, I'm utterly tired of Halo, Gears, of Forza, their holy trinity. But I mean, even though we didn't see anything really of Halo, there's a concept there, so I kind of hope they finally take Halo in a new direction that it so badly needs. Gears of War, I was laughing when I first saw the trailer, because I said, I've always moaned about how bad Gears is in terms of a third-person shooter, in terms of like targeting specific body parts and just stuff like this. But it looks like this is finally in this game. Graphically it looked great, and if you're a Gears fan, it's giving you what you want. Not for me again. I need the series to do something different. It's been milked and it's tired now, but it's there, and they're doing another one. And Forza, once again a series I've only dabbled in, but my God, I mean, graphically that game looked absolutely phenomenal. It did completely blow me away. The British countryside and stuff, and the way you could just drive over and through obstacles along the way and everything like that. And we'll see how the Caesar thing kicks in. But they done what they done. They giving more content for Sea of Thieves, something they sorely need to do. So they're doing that. But the conference overall was not terrible. It wasn't great. I'd probably score it a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for myself, just someone who's not really interested anymore in what Microsoft are offering from a first party's perspective. So in terms of third parties, I can get all that stuff everywhere else, but still, it's their platform, they're getting the game, so it's their right to show them off. But they done what they could, and there was a few things that I wanted to point out that I feel like I noticed. I could be wrong about these. I haven't watched back for the press conference again, but just going off memory and how I felt at the time, there was a few things I noticed. Now, one was I didn't see any exclusive third-party games announced for the Xbox. I mean, that was their big word right throughout the whole conference, where it has been for their previous E3s, exclusive. And, they blur the lines on what exclusive, means, because, let's be honest, they'll say exclusive and then break, and then world premiere, and then exclusive, and say console launch exclusive. And so you're trying to work out what is actually exclusive to your platform. And unfortunately, even though they say it is exclusive to the Xbox, maybe console-wise, they've gone to the PC market, so I can get all of their games pretty much without owning an Xbox One console. But even then, like I said, I'm not that interested in a first-party lineup anymore. But yeah, I didn't see any third-party exclusives announced. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's very, very telling in a position that they're in compared to before, where normally you would see one or two third parties exclusives announced for the Xbox brands. It's what they do. They buy in a lot of exclusives. As we know, Scalebound went to shit. They've lost that could have harmed them, plus them closing many studios. Something I'll get into a bit later on now. But yeah, I didn't see any of that. So you feel like they are doing once again what they can do. Just push out, get the multiplats out there so they can show to still let it come to the console, and then give Xbox players the core IPs that has made the Xbox brand so popular as it has, which is Halo, Gears, and Forza, and maybe one or two other series which unfortunately has slacked, like Mass Effect and stuff, which they lost anyway. But I don't really want to talk about Trash Effect. But yeah, so I didn't see any third-party exclusives, and like I said, that's pretty telling. And then I also I don't remember them mentioning the Xbox One X once. I mean, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, they might have mentioned it once or twice, just very briefly, but throughout the whole throughout the whole conference, I just heard just the Xbox brand in general. I don't remember them mentioning the Xbox One X. And once again, I feel like, for me, thinking this and not remembering it, I do feel that that's very telling of what this platform has done for them, if anything at all, because it's the most powerful console on the market, right? They push this thing out, they put a lot of money into it, a lot of R&D, and you just feel like a bit like with the PS4 Pro, you just feel like they're not doing enough to advertise and push this thing anymore now. Now it's out, I don't think it's sold as well as they hoped. So you kind of feel like they know it's there. They might mention it one or twice when it comes to bigging up one or two third-party ports, But I don't remember hearing 4K much or anything like this. They kind of went quiet on it. But one thing they did mention towards the end of the press conference is the fact that they're working on their next platform. Now, of course, we all know, every major platform home is working on their next platforms, but it was strange for them to mention this, and like I said, not so much mention the Xbox One X, which makes me feel like I'm gonna put it out there. I feel like their next console is gonna come sooner than we feel, and in some ways this might be good for them. And especially if they do a brand refresh where they just start off from scratch, which is what they need to regain that momentum, because they've lost so much with the Xbox One as a brand. They've lost so much. So I won't be surprised to see. We got Forza coming, we got Crackdown 3 coming, which I thought was pretty underwhelming as well. But at least it's still coming. They've got another exclusive there. What else was there? For their Trinity, Halo and Gears of War. Now, I can imagine Forza, Gears of War, and Crackdown 3 seeing them through for a while amongst all the third-party stuff. And then I can imagine the next Halo, probably bridging generations, having it on the Xbox One X and then having it on the next Xbox, because one thing they did mention in the interview afterwards is that they will be focusing as well heavily on backwards compatibility, something they've done tremendously lately with the Xbox One, and I think that's a strong selling point for them, and certainly for me, if I want to get back into the Xbox brand, if they And I feel like that's something that they want to get right, especially going in through their to their new console. So yeah, I could sense a lot of change coming with Microsoft, and in some ways, I'm actually happy that they've gone ahead and said that they will be continuing to with the Xbox with their games division, because at some points, I was saying that I would be surprised if they came back with a new console. The Xbox One X is doing Xbox One and Xbox One X. They were just not doing what they were supposed to be doing, and Microsoft really felt like they were in a crapper. But at the same time, then they came out and announced, a number of studios that they have just bought up. Now Microsoft have a history a bit like EA with buying up studios, and even Sony sometimes, buying up studios, using them, and if nothing works out, they could be cast into the dirt. And one of the studios, which actually took me by surprise, was their announcement that they have bought up Ninja Theory, that they are now part of the Xbox group. And this took me by surprise. It really did. Not so much because of Ninja Theory's history, with their games, because they don't have a huge history, but they still do have quite an impressive one in terms of the companies that they've worked with. Sony, Capcom, Bandai Namco, and now the Xbox and stuff, as well as doing their own games. But yeah, this was shocking, more so because of what Ninja Theory hold to themselves in their own beliefs when it comes to them as a company, and their ethics when it comes to games design and what they want to achieve when it comes to creating games. Now, I just want to read something from that was quoted in an interview from the creative lead, I believe, of Ninja Theory, who spoke about why they decided to go to Microsoft. So I'll just read this out for you now. This is just a little sample of what he said. We want to take bigger creative risks and create genre-defining games without constant threat of annihilation, says creative lead Tamin Antonides. I probably just butchered his name, but there we go. There's some parts of it as well, more to it. When Microsoft approached us, it was totally unexpected and not something we were really looking to do, he said. Nevertheless, they asked us what our goals and ambitions were as a studio in an ideal world. And so we said we wanted to be free from the AAA machine and make games focused on the experience, not around the monetization. We want to make our own games our own way and not be told what to make and how to make it. And above all, we want to protect our team, our culture, and our identity, because that is the essence of Ninja Theory. Now, when I read this interview, I laughed my ass off. I was laughing so hard, because literally, in my mind, everything he said, based off history and what we know, goes against absolutely everything that Microsoft is as a games company, as a games manufacturer. Because we could just look at their past, all the studios they've owned in the past, what they've done with Rare and Lionhead and everyone else you can mention, and you just think what he's just said is just bonkers. Why would you give in to Microsoft, this company with this history, and then say that with all your beliefs when you just when you just know Microsoft, you just know that they are not going to for long give that creative freedom that they want. This is just based off history. If they change, fine. Consider me saying, okay, yeah, they let them do what they wanted. This is phenomenal. I hope it continues. But you can only go off the path of what's been. And for the studio to have this type of ethics and to say this and then go to this company, I just didn't get it. It just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So, it's going to be interesting to see what Ninja Theory do. For some reason, I can't expect them doing a game now on the Xbox One. I can imagine them doubling down and getting a new game for the next Xbox if it comes out as soon as I feel it will. But then at the same time, you could imagine, a company like this, who have produced games like Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, which I actually loved on the Xbox 360. I thought it was a underrated title. And then they had their recent game, which got all the critical acclaim in the world, Hellblade. But unfortunately, probably didn't meet the sales that they needed and wanted. So they were probably going under. And, in that respect, for someone like Microsoft to come up to a studio like you and say, right, we want to buy you out, we're going to let you do, whatever you want to do, give you all the resources, how to do this, and it'd be hard to turn them down, right? It'd be hard to turn, you'd have to be, you'd have to look at yourself, look at your team, and go, what else can we do right now? Otherwise, if we don't take something like this, we're probably going to go under. So you're going to take the risk. I can imagine it. But at the same time, it's got to be nerve-wracking for them, absolutely nerve-wracking, and they're going to have to. You feel like they're going to have to really double down and hopefully get something out that finally gets them the sales and attention that they deserve. And Microsoft can be a great publisher. They really can. They have been in the past. But right now it's a nervous time for both of them, I feel. So yeah, that was a bit of a shocker for me, I have to admit. But yeah, Microsoft, their show wasn't bad. They're not going out without a fight, with some good showings of games, just good games in general. So they're coming to their platforms, and outside of that, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Sony do now. We got Ubisoft, very soon, and of course the big game which I'm most hyped about, and I can't wait for Juices Loose podcast tonight. We're going to be talking what's come earlier, Bethesda and Microsoft again. So yeah, that's my thoughts on just the Microsoft. Just a few little tidbits there. I will be having my own video on what games I consider to be the highlight of E3 once they've all done, and I also fired out any other videos that come to my attention for any stories I'd like to talk about. But yeah, we've seen some good games. Nothing that's blown my mind at the moment, although there has been some good stuff. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Cyberpunk 27 and Ori and the Blind Forest, and a few other games which you probably saw some videos in here. But I'll talk about those another day. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about Microsoft, what I've said myself about Ninja Theory and Microsoft themselves, how they're moving forward. And as always, thanks for listening. I look forward to your comments below. Peace.